bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News 24 and today's America. This is Tofader Nur from our American studio. Viewers, we have our guest, our climate environment activist, also political researcher, George Ortega in White Plain, New York. We're going to talk about today American mainstream media, print media, also electronics media, radio, TV. Also, we're going to talk about our American politics and world politics. Also, we're going to talk about virus, coronavirus, so-called pandemic. And we're going to talk about environment, also climate and healthcare. We are welcoming our good friend, Mr. George Ortega, our studio. George, American media these days, they are against American color people. They are against American democracy. They are against administration. What is public have to do and what is our job? George.
Well, yes, Nur. Yes, our media is controlled by the rich who don't care about black people. They don't care about white people. They don't care about poor people. They just care about themselves. So what we're going to do is first we're going to prosecute, convict, and sentence Trump to life in prison. That has to be the first step. Once we do that, we can begin to explain to the world how the Republican Party, continued to be behind him for this year after he attempted to overthrow our government. So we're going to implicate the entire Republican Party as the army of the rich. And then we're going to restructure our media so that the rich, so that Rupert Murdoch, Arthur Schultzberger, Fred Ryan, these single individuals cannot own and run news organizations that spread misinformation throughout the entire world.
You bring so many things, very good. Our New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, and New York Post, Fox News, not MSNBC, Fox News, also Newsmax and America One. They are against American people, middle class people, and lower class people. Also, they are against color people. Why they are doing this kind of things in our soil, American soil? Some media owner from out of the country, they are not a American, okay, they are Australian, someone is British, they are doing business in America and they are against peoples of America. So our administration, city, state, federal, what their job, what they have to do, they control these things.
Yeah, what they should have been doing since January 6th, 2021 is explaining to the American public, explaining to the world public exactly why the 2020 election was not stolen. Explain to the public exactly why Trump told them that lie, assembled them, and tried to overturn the results of our election. So basically, that's what they need to be doing. If they were doing their job, they would be doing that, but they are doing the job of the rich. Because the rich own this media, and the rich are trying to protect Trump. It's not going to last, because basically now it's not just Trump who's a danger to the United States and the world, it's also the rich owners of these media corporations. For example, Trump is behind Russia's threat to invade Ukraine. And so like basically it's a cabal of rich people, rich individuals attempting to protect themselves. And we were at a point where like the rich had a long run. They did a lot of good in decades before. But now the combination of climate change and Trump trying to overthrow violently our country, they have gone way too far. And that's why the end is near for them. They're either way. They push us into a war or something, and they suffer. The Republican Party is done, and the rich who control them are done also, because we can't afford. Our country cannot afford to have these people start. They could potentially start a third world war with what's happening in Ukraine. And so that's how dangerous they've become. That's why, we don't just have to like put Trump and those Republicans in prison for the rest of their lives. We have to basically remove the rich from their positions of power in the media, and have the media then reflect the goals, the needs, the work of the country, of the entire world.
You can see 24 hours Fox News, Fox News, American One, and Newsmax. Also, Wall Street Journal, New York Post, New York Times. They are against the people's will. Also against the democratic constitution. Also against the White House. Our White House, why they are controlling these things? What's happened when is Biden doing some meeting or demonstration or something? Biden cannot remember something, and they are showing these things, discuss things like Biden, he do not know anything. He don't have a memory anything. They are criticizing every single day. This is the worldwide peoples is laughing American media. So what's our FCC doing right now? Why they are not controlling these things? George?
The FCC is again like working with Biden, because Biden's on the side of the rich also. He's trying to negotiate this, but he's protecting the rich. But it's becoming apparent to everyone that the media is ignoring January 6th. The media is playing into this idea that Trump may go free and all. So like what they're going to be afraid of, Nur, is that history will judge, if they don't come down harshly, not just Trump, but on the entire Republican Party, history will judge the media. And this is like relatively history, within the next few years. Will judge the media as having been complicit with Trump and the insurrection. So like if they want to escape that fate that is inevitable, if they continue their course, they will begin to report, to the people that the election wasn't stolen, that we had no choice but not just to imprison Trump, but to imprison all of his accomplices.
Listen, one of the network is Fox Network, Fox News. Their evening, host Tucker, another one is Hannity, another one is the Laura Engel. They are pushing American truck. Why they are not blocking like a Niagara Falls Bridge, some Buffalo, what is they called, Canadian border by Montreal, Plattsburgh. Why they are not blocking? They are pushing American Truck Association to demonstration with against the virus, against the administration, and they are supporting Canadian peoples, what they are doing now Ottawa, what they did on Ambassador Bridge. They are supporting everything and they are financing these things from America to Canada. But federal government, what is their job? If we do something, they coming right the way. Why they are not taking care those things right now?
Well, Hannity and Carlson are actually probably far too stupid to understand this, but they're doing us a huge favor because basically they're inciting crowds to disrupt the public peace. And eventually, the protests in Canada, protests planned for here, people are going to be fed up with that. After 2 years of this pandemic, people are going to have no patience for people like that. So this ploy that Carlson and Hannity they came up with is going to backfire on them big time.
Same thing also Laura Engel. She is against the government and all color people. Sorry to say that. Why she is against the color people? What is her problem? What is the Hannity's problem? What is the Tucker problem? This is American peoples. They are American life. They working round the clock for American peoples. Also, they paying the tax better than whatever the Hannity and Laura Engel did. But they are against the administration, against the peoples of America. My question is, federal government, city government, state government, they don't have any kind of source or any kind of law to taking care of these things?
The Republican Party is against government. They don't care about black people, Laura Engel, they don't care about anyone but themselves. They don't care even about their children and grandchildren who will suffer the devastation of climate change because they don't care, because they're preventing our world from addressing this properly. So yes, they are the most evil group of people in the history of humankind, and we as a species are evolving behind them. We've said enough. January 6th was the turning point. January 6th was the time that they overreached in a way that they will not survive.
You are right. George, in America, every single day, our color people shoot down and killing by knife or gun or something else on the street, on the house, on their front of the house or mall. Our federal government, state government, city government just say something, but they are not doing any kind of activities. Yesterday, what's happened in Chinatown? One of the young lady heading to home, they are front of their first floor. Someone, Chinese American, and killed. And our mayor and police commissioner, they are not doing whatever they have to do. Also, on the subway station, Times Square, Chinese woman, they're pushing on the truck, and she right the way, train came, she is died. These things happening, this is the violence of colored people. Why our police authority, FBI, ATF and city government, state government, federal government, not doing anything. Do you have any idea?
Yeah, well, this is the problem that comes with allowing Trump for 4 years to spew hatred, to spew racism, and to attack people the way he does. This is the outcome of that. Obviously, we're going to have to correct that, but it's so much worse than that, Nur. Our government, for example, 100,000 people die every year in the United States from opioid overdoses. They basically, these are dangerous medications prescribed by doctors. That the reason many of these deaths are happening is that our federal government is still against legalizing cannabis, which is a much more effective and safe way of dealing with both emotional and physical pain than this opioids. So basically what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not limited to the black people. These people in power don't care about black people, don't care about poor people, don't care about anyone but themselves. And they'll use whatever means they can to try to keep it that way. But again, they've overplayed their hand. They are no longer a force in this world because of January 6th. They don't realize it yet. They will soon.
Brother, Chinese American victimized every single day. Asian American victimized every single day. On the subway, on their own house, or on the street, or on the mall. Donald Trump, our ex-president, we have a respect for presidency. But whatever he did, this virus come from where? China. This is Chinese virus. He make the racism and he cannot take off these things. Now all America, 50 states, 3 territories, Asian, Chinese, they are victimized. So our city government and state government, they have to do something. What do you think?
Yeah, and it's really the same thing. The reason this COVID situation got to be a pandemic is because the rich didn't want to lose money. They told Trump, we don't want you to accept this. We don't want to tell the people the truth of how dangerous it is, and we don't care how much it spreads. We just want to protect our interests. So the rich created this, and again, we're at a point in human history where it's not, what's happening in the United States is going to carry over to the rest of the world. Once Trump is in prison for what he did, once the Republican Party is dismantled, then the people like them in other countries are no longer going to be able to get away with it. So yes, we're going to create a world where Chinese people or Asians or anyone can walk anywhere in the world free of the fear of violence, because we're going to bring down the people in this world, the rich who created this violence.
We see this country, what's happened in 60s, 70s, 80s, but we never saw this kind of hatred and this kind of crime that time. And when Biden came in the power, crime going 100% up. 100% up. You know why? Our federal government and state government, they deduct the fund from police department for Black Lives Matter, this slogan. This slogan make us sick, not peace. Our police department, they don't want to work. They don't have a fund. How they going to work? What is our state have to do right now?
Well, again, like any kind of problem we bring up, crime, the violence, the hatred, it all goes back to the people who are controlling the media. The New York Times, the Washington Post, the movies, they promote violence. They promote material that gets people to hate each other. And again, the reason I'm optimistic is that with January 6th, it ended for them. And if you want to explain why they became violent, why Trump became the way he did, because long before that, we had this threat, this looming increasing threat of climate change.
My friend, stay with us, viewers. We are going to short break. Please stay with
Millennium
us.
TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
We are back again. Today's America, Millennium News 24/7. George, our America, almost million peoples pass away this pandemic. Right now, our federal government, CDC, FDA, and state health authority, probably they don't count how many people die every single day right now. Used to be they declare, but federal government, one department, they are declare every single day. Right now, over 2,000 people died by this pandemic. Why our American brother and sister, they are against the vaccine, against the mask? What is our government have to do? Like a Quebec, Canada, Quebec premier or governor, he declared, if anyone do not use the vaccine or mask, they cannot see the doctor, they cannot buy the food, they cannot do work, nothing. If their reason someone die, they have to pay their damages. Why our government not doing these things? Why they are scared?
Right, and again, it goes back to Trump having lied to everyone about the pandemic not being serious. And then that led to our world being in this state. Now, people don't fully appreciate that now, but once Trump is behind bars, once the Republican Party is understood to have caused this pandemic, basically by their inaction, then they're not going to live this down. And yes, they caused this pandemic. We're going to ensure that they're not around to cause future pandemics.
Canadian federal government, they are strict, and also provincial premier, they are strict. But our country, United States of America, Biden administration have to be strict, have to be strong, and state, if they not doing right things, like a Republican state, stop the fund, stop totally funding federal government. Why they are not doing their job? Why our brother and sister every single day, over 2,000 people have to be passed away. Their reason, their work. What is Biden administration have to do?
Yeah, the reason what's supposed to happen and what should be happening is not happening is because the Democratic Party today is run by the rich. Now, that's not going to last for long because the Democrats know Biden knows that he must imprison Trump. He must go after every Republican who continues to support Trump. And as that happens, then the money is not going to just leave the Republican Party, it's going to leave the Democratic Party, because we're not going to tolerate it anymore. And then we will transform our administrations into administrations that serve the people, that do what needs to be done and should be done to prevent future pandemics and to move us away from this one as quickly as possible. But it's a three-step process. First, we can imprison Trump for what he did, hold the entire Republican Party accountable, and then explain to the world that we are getting money out of politics because we need to do things that are very important, and the world order has shifted.
You know, one thing is politics. I'm coming to the politics right now. You remember Bill Clinton, whatever he did, oral sex, or whatever he did in the White House, what is the Republican did? Impeach, you know, and thanks God, one of the Republican against their party, and no one cannot impeach him. You know that. So whatever Clinton did, but whatever again, Obama administration, Secretary of State, Excellence Hillary Clinton, her job to check all mission worldwide, all embassy. This is her job. Also, American view, American democratic and democracy tell the world. But some mistake or something happened on Libya, Tripoli or Benghazi. One of the ambassador died by fire, bullet fire or something. So how she going to protect the all embassy in worldwide? And what is the deed? Republican and Democrat embrace her like a 5 years. She is not a job even. She quit the job, but she have to go every single day to explain what's happened in Senate and Congress. Why our Biden administration do not do any inquiry to our ex-president, whatever he did? What is the problem?
Right. You know, I think the reason for that is that we have an ultimate priority. As long as Trump is a free man, he will try to incite more demonstrations in Canada and throughout the world, lying to people. Trump is an ongoing and increasing danger. So yes, there's a lot we have to do. We have to protect our ambassadors. We have to do so much across the board in so many ways. But the way we do all that is to begin by ensuring that Trump spends the rest of his life in prison. And Trump, I mean, he's in a lot of trouble. You know, imagine there are like hundreds of Democratic representatives, House members and senators who were attacked by Trump's mob and who were traumatized. Each of those representatives can file civil suits, and I imagine probably all of them will, against Trump, as well as the 5 police officers who lost their lives because of January 6th. Trump is not just going to face, life in prison. He's going to be fined in the amounts of hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, in hundreds of civil cases. So when that happens, as that's happening, the dynamics of this world changes. People understand, no, just because you have more money than others doesn't mean you can get away with attacking a country and trying to overtake it. So again, Biden should be doing other things, but we have to do things a step at a time. The first thing is to get Trump behind bars and then to go after the entire Republican Party.
Whatever you say is fine, but if our politician do that, but our politician is greedy, both party, Republican and Democrat, they do not work for their own people. Right now, what is happening in Russia and Ukraine? We stop to pay Afghanistan their money, but we donate over $60 billion, not million, $60 billion in Ukraine. We cannot pay $3.5 billion Afghan people money. What is the issue, man?
Well, you're completely right. It's not just the Republicans who are controlled by money, it's the Democrats. But everything has changed. In the past decades, even with climate change, Democrats were able to get away with not doing the right thing, with working for the rich also. That is no longer the case. The Democrats have no choice but to imprison Trump. They cannot walk away with it from this because 25% of us who are liberals and many who are independents won't let them, and history would vilify them. If our leaders, Biden knows that if he lets Trump go free, he becomes a much greater villain to our world than Trump.
Another things, our taxpayer money, our federal government, their abuse. American people vote for them, do something for their community, their family, but they are not doing. Biden administration, they donate money worldwide, but poor country, we do not build, we destroy the country. Their money in our reserve bank, we seize their money, and Senate open hearing, the money have to be released. Senate hearing, money have to be released. Biden administration, what he did, he released $7 billion and 3 point some he do not release. He stopped these things for 9/11 family. My question is to you, who did the 9/11? What our security, national security and Air Force, and our all Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force and national security did that day? Why we are paying them billions of dollars monthly? What is their job? Why we are fighting for Afghanistan? Nothing happened with Afghanistani people, but we destroy Afghan and we stop their money. This is the reality, or this is nasty politics and Biden administration?
Yeah, Nur, it's not just Afghanistan, it's every poor country in the world that Biden and the Democrats and the Republicans have been ignoring. That's the past. That's the past. Now we're moving into a future where, without the Republican Party as their army, the rich are done. And the Democrats cannot afford to continue supporting the rich because of January 6th. So what happens? Once the shift of the global order happens, as it's happening now, then we're going to get leaders not just in this country, but in every country in the world who care about the people. So our money, billions of dollars, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, are going to where they are needed most, these poor countries. We're going to create a fair world that works for everyone.
We have over 200 countries in this planet. Every country have a account our reserve bank. They put some fund over here, and this is for their country people's money. Country of Bangladesh, I'm talking one of the little things with you, share with you. Country of Bangladesh, they have a account of reserve bank. 2016 or 2015, reserve bank Bangladesh account hacked, and they took the money over $40 billion, one of the poor country money. But they put on the reserve bank. What is the reserve bank duty? How they hack it and how they took the $40 billion. Who going to pay for these things? This is Bangladeshi people's money, hard-working money. Now federal government and reserve bank chairman, they say your account hack. We don't know. We don't have to do anything.
Nor we both know that they are evil people for that and so much more. But what we need to appreciate and understand is what's happening now is historic. We years ago we went from kings and queens running everything, feudalism, to democracy. but it really isn't a democracy because it's a plutocracy where the rich control everything. Now, because of January 6th, because they went too far and we can't forget it and we won't forgive it, we are changing our world. We are creating a world where the rich no longer control what happens. We're going from a plutocracy to a much truer democracy. And it all starts with imprisoning Trump, indicting the Republican Party, and then making the Democrats do what's in the interest, not just of our country, but of the entire world.
You know, another funny thing, European community, they do not like to fight with Russia. France and Germany, they are against the fighting with Russia. But only country pushing, do you know who? King and Queen, Great Britain. They are pushing to America, go to war, go to fight with Russia. What is their interest, man? What they try to do? They are, I'm not finishing. Our taxpayer money, our children, our brother and sister, they're going to be die. And Britain, they are like one of the king in the world. They are just pushing our country to go to the fight with Russia. Why our politicians, they do not understood that, George?
Yeah, well, the Great Britain started this mess. You know, they had the great empire that you know, divided Africa and just like, so basically they're part of the problem. You know, they're controlled by the rich just as much as our Republicans and Democrats. So, but, you know, they understand that if they go to war, if they start a war, they're going to pay a huge price. We're all going to pay a price, and it's a price they can't afford. So, but either way, you know, whether we go to war or not, the existing political order in the world is done. You know, Trump not only destroyed the Republican Party, Trump destroyed the rich who control the Republican Party.
George, stay with us. Viewers, we are going to short break. Please stay with us.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Viewers, we are back again, Today's America and Millennium News 24/7. Viewers, our world healthcare issue, most important things. Country of Vietnam, country of Taiwan, peoples have a 100% healthcare. Also Switzerland. And America is one of the greatest country in the world. We are donate billions of dollars in the world, our taxpayer money. But our people, they don't have 100% health care. Our so many state, they get the money from Medicaid money from the state. What they did those money? Why they are not using their people? You know, like in New York State, people's working hard, and the elderly person, poor person, they don't have a health care 100%. Why our government making billions of dollars tax from the state, city, and federal government? Why they are not helping the American people, American citizens, their brother, their sister? What we have to do now? Our Biden administration, before the election, they say so many good things they're going to do. But he's over 1 year, 1 month gone. Now he's 1 year to a second month. He is not doing anything for health care. He fight for pandemic, but his Congress and Senate, they have a few months ahead, and we're going to have a election. So that time, if they lose, Biden administration lose. Now they are in power. Why they are not doing right things, right time? Mr. George?
Nur, I mean, we have Obama to be grateful for the Obama care, that expanded health care so well. And we thought, that was a great thing. We can look forward to much, much more expensive health care in the future. Why is that? Because of January 6th. When the rich overreached by trying to overtake our country, they basically disempowered themselves. So basically, the pharmaceuticals, the rich people with money that have prevented us from doing as much as we should have been doing in the past, no longer have that power. It's not something that's evident yet, but once Trump is in prison, once the Republican Party is dismantled, once the Democratic Party is separated from the money that controls it, then we're going to be able to do that. And again, we don't have a choice. And the idea is to live in a world where let's say the Republicans would win in 2022. Nobody wants that, and that's why we can be sure it's not going to happen. So the momentum is moving very powerfully in the direction of disempowering the Republican Party, disempowering the rich, and making the Democrats do what's right instead of following the rich. That's the third step. We have to take the Democratic Party away from the rich, and once we do that, then we, the people, control our government.
I am talking about health care bill. Obama make health care easy to American people. He did good things for our American people. Trump administration tried to, dismantle the health care, but he can't. His people supported. Right now, we are on the Senate and we are on the Congress. We are on White House. My question is, why we do not pass health care for all American, and who coming to America legally, illegally? If they're gonna live here, they have to have a health care. But our young generation, when they came out from college or university, they separated from their family. That time they try to go open the health care. They don't have a fund. They have to go social welfare, social service requirement, tax paper, and working job. They don't have it. But so many thousands of young generation, they don't have a health care. What is our social service do, and what is our state do on those people?
Right, so why can't we pass health care that would cover them? Because the Republicans would filibuster any kind of legislation intended to do that. And that is why I'm so optimistic. That's why when the Republicans are voted out of office this November, finally the Democratic Party will have every reason, no excuse not to fund everyone. So yes, like the reason why that's not happening now is the Republicans and the rich who control them are preventing that. After this November election, they will not have that ability anymore.
You know, you are against the Republican and whatever Trump did January 6. They are against the peoples of America. One thing I'm going to tell you, we are not against any government, any party. We are criticizing. We have two senators, Joe Manchin, West Virginia, Christina Sinema from Arizona. These two persons against every single bill Joe Biden. So why they are in Democrat? Why they are in the Senate among Democrat keys? Why they don't take out or get out from the Democratic Party? Why they doing these things? They are getting vote by Democrat. They pass by Democrat. Democrat give the vote for them. Why they do not support their people, also peoples of America? If they don't, why they do not quit from Democrat Party?
Nur, I imagine the Democrats recruited them to run in a more moderate way because we needed to control the Senate. Now, the very good news is that after November 22, we will not need Manchin and Sinema. They will be inconsequential because we will vote in more senators than we need to pass any kind of legislation. They will just no longer matter.
Very good. We have an environment and climate issue in the world. Also, we have a lot of financial problem, our lower class and middle class. Government, FEMA, they pass so many billions of dollars for homeowner, for winter heating. But state still hold the money. They do not give any homeowner. Also, they pass the FEMA bill for disaster. Any disaster happening in America, but FEMA hold the money. Our federal government, why they are give the punishment to the lower class and middle class? Mr. George?
Right, and that happens now because the Republican Party will not allow the laws of our land to prohibit states from keeping that money. So basically, we need to basically, starting again, everything is after this November, but after this happens and the Republicans are no longer in power, we will not allow these states to deny their citizens federal funds. We will not allow FEMA to not disperse funds that are needed by people. So it's all the same problem, whether it's the health care or the pandemic, whatever it is, these rich people, will not allow what needs to happen and must happen to happen. And thank God we're in an era now where they are done. The rich are done in controlling this world.
George, we have a climate issue, whole of the world, also America. Every administration since Obama and Donald Trump, now is Biden. They are talking, but Donald Trump 4 years, he disaster everything, American coast, river, ocean. And he told the world, environment and climate, this is the hoax. All scientist is liar. He is the big scientist. That's why 4 years, everything is collapse. Right now, Biden administration try to do something, but Senate and Congress stop these things. He do not have any special power, George.
Well, before Trump got elected and before January 6th, I wasn't so optimistic about the future of our climate. But now, see, because you have to understand, the rich people who are supporting Trump now, the Republicans who support him, are the same people who had been preventing us from addressing climate change. Now, after January 12th of this year, or November of this year, after they're no longer in power, I feel much more optimistic that we can proceed with climate action throughout the entire world, that we can finally start taking the action that we should have been taking for decades, but the rich have prevented us. Now we're moving into an era where they will no longer be able to prevent us from doing what we need to do on climate change.
You know, our Biden administration probably is loser. I'm going to say is loser. Reason? His administration follow so many things Trump administration. You know? So that's why anything happen, they are looking for past administration, what they did and what they have to do. Biden work in this world, in politics, since 1970. 36 years senator, 8 years American vice president. He have a lot of experience. He cannot do anything. George?
Well, Nur, we both know that the Democratic Party has been evil for decades because they've been controlled by the rich. Biden is doing the bidding of the rich. That's why things are getting done. That's why he's a loser, but he's trapped. He has no choice but to imprison Trump, because if he doesn't imprison Trump, he'll go down in history as the worst villain ever, far worse than Trump. He's not going to do that. And it's not just him. The Democratic Party would have that same fate. They're not going to. It's so much more than that, Nur. I mean, you have hundreds of Democrats in the Capitol building that remember that day and will not let the Republicans get away with it. So yes, we showed the world how evil the Republican Party has become. That's the first step. Then we Democrats look at ourselves. Oh yeah, we're not going to continue to allow the rich to control us. So it's basically Trump, Biden's failure. Biden's losing is because he's protecting the rich who are winning, and that's not going to last much longer. After November, the Democrats are going to be reformed just as much as the Republicans.
Our time almost end, George. Our West Coast, Seattle, Washington, and Colorado, also California, and other side of the world, Hawaii. So many disasters happening every single day. Climate issue, fire, they took like millions of house, disaster, gone, people livelihood all gone by fire. And somewhere is hurricane, somewhere in flood. But those states, they are paying their tax, their fair share with the American people. Why they have to suffer? Why federal government not doing anything? What is their job? Why we are send them in White House, Senate and Congress? Our environment is disaster. Roads, highway, river, canal, ocean. Our everything is disaster in America right now. What is their job, man? Why they are not doing right things for American people, their grandchildren, their children? What's happening? What is their mind? George.
Yeah, they're not doing the right thing because they are evil and they're still controlled by money. But God, who is like afflicting us with this pandemic, who's threatening us with climate change, who creates the hurricanes and tornadoes and the floods. God is angry with them, God is angry with us, and we will understand that. We will finally reform ourselves, and as part of the Reformation, we will reform the Democratic Party, the Republicans, our leaders, so that they no longer serve the rich, so they serve us, and then we will please God. Then God will be pleased, and the pandemic will be lifted, and the world will be made as it should have been for a long time.
Very good, George. Thank you very much. You are coming on Millennium News 24/7 and Today's America. Viewers, we are talking today mainstream media, why they are against of this administration and American people. Number one. Number two, we are talking about politics, our local, state, federal, also international. And we are talking about pandemic. We are talking about the another disaster happening, our Ambassador Bridge and Ottawa. Also, we are talking about millions of people pass away from us by pandemic. We are talking about climate and environmental. Viewers, for today, our time is end. Whatever you are, please watch Millennium News 24/7 on iOS and Android device. Also, all smart TVs like Sony, Samsung, LG. We are on also Amazon Fire Stick, Roku Stick, Apple TV, also Roku TV and Amazon TV. Viewers, our social network address is Millennium News 24/7, and our YouTube channel address News Channel M24. Our website millenniumnews24.com, millenniumtv24.com. Viewers, our colleague, friends, our technician, engineer, broadcaster, working round the clock for you, news, views, talk show and documentary for everything, local, international. We are grateful their service, their work. Viewers, whatever you are, please stay peace, love and happiness. Viewers, goodbye and take care for today.